All right, let's talk about something super important. Safety in the dental office. I mean, think about it. You've got sharp tools, chemicals, all sorts of procedures happening. Keeping everyone safe isn't just a good idea. It's everything.
So, let's kick things off with a big question. One that, honestly, everyone on the team should know the answer to. Who's really in charge of safety where you work?
And the answer? It's pretty simple, actually. It's everyone. There's this concept called the internal responsibility system, which is really just a fancy way of saying that safety is a team sport. From the dentist who owns the practice right down to the person who just started yesterday, everyone has a role to play.
Okay, so if everyone's responsible, how does that actually work in practice? Let's break down the structure and look at the key players, because how it's set up really depends on how big your team is. And this is where it gets interesting. The whole system is designed to scale up. If you're in a smaller office, say 19 people or less, you'll have one elected health and safety rep, or HSR. But the moment your team grows to 20 or more, things change. You'll need what's called a Joint Health and Safety Committee, the JHSC. And that brings both workers and management together to tackle safety.
Now, here's a really critical point about that HSR, the Health and Safety Rep. They have to be a worker, not a manager. And there's a good reason for that, right? It's so they can look into safety concerns, even something as serious as a work refusal, without any pressure from the higher-ups. They're there to be a voice for their colleagues, plain and simple.
All right, let's move on to something that empowers every single person on the team. We're talking about your 3 basic rights. And these aren't just nice ideas. They are the foundation of workplace safety. They give you real power to protect yourself.
You can think of these as the big 3 of your safety rights. It boils down to this. You have the right to know what hazards you're working with, you have the right to participate in making your workplace safer, and you have the right to refuse any job you truly feel is unsafe. Know, participate, refuse. It's that straightforward.
And that right to know isn't some vague concept. It's super practical. It means you get trained on things like WHMIS, that's the Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System. You should be able to look at any chemical in the office, understand those little hazard symbols, and know exactly where to grab the safety data sheet if something goes wrong.
Okay, that's the theory. But what does this look like day to day? Let's put these ideas into action and talk about some real-world situations you'll definitely run into in a dental office.
Let's talk about eye injuries. In a dental office, with all the chemicals and potential for flying debris, the risk is real. That's why having a proper, working eye wash station isn't just a nice to have. No way. It is a must-have, absolutely non-negotiable.
And when I say proper, I mean it has to be close. The rule is 10 seconds. You have to be able to get from where the accident happened to that eye wash station in 10 seconds or less. And think about it. If you've just gotten something in your eye, you can't see. The path has to be completely clear. No boxes, no chairs, nothing in the way.
And that's not all. The station needs to deliver a steady stream of what's called tepid water, so lukewarm, not freezing cold or burning hot, for a full 15 minutes. 15! That's how long it takes to properly flush out most harmful chemicals and really minimize the damage.
Oh, and a really important point here. Those little plastic eye wash bottles you might see, they don't count. They are not a substitute for a real, plumbed-in eye wash station. They just can't provide the continuous 15-minute flow you need. They're better than nothing in a pinch, but they do not meet the standard.
Okay, let's switch gears to fire extinguishers. While it's officially the job of the HSR, or the Safety Committee, to do monthly checks, this is something everyone should know. In a real emergency, you don't have time to read a manual. You need to know if the extinguisher you're grabbing is actually going to work.
So here's the 2-second check. First, look at the gauge. See that little needle? It needs to be pointing to the green section. If it's in the green, you're good to go. It's charged. If it's in the red, well, that extinguisher is basically a paperweight. It needs to be serviced right away.
Second thing to check is the pin. There should be a pin in the handle, usually with a little plastic tie holding it in place. That tells you it hasn't been used or messed with. If that pin is gone, you have to assume it's either been used or it's not safe. Don't trust it.
So, having the right gear is one piece of the puzzle. But what happens when something bigger goes wrong? This is where having a solid emergency plan comes in. And honestly, a good plan that everyone knows is just as important as the equipment itself.
A great way to handle this is with emergency codes. They're clear, they're fast, and they don't freak out the patients. Yelling "fire" might cause a panic, But saying code red, operatory 2 over the intercom tells the team exactly what's happening and where, so they can respond immediately and professionally.
And if you ever hear code green, that means get out. But here's the thing, you can't just have an evacuation plan tucked away in a binder somewhere. You've got to practice it. Remember fire drills in school? It's the same idea. In a real emergency, you want muscle memory to kick in, not panic.
And part of that plan is having a designated meeting spot. It needs to be a safe distance away, at least 20 feet from the building. And that's for two really important reasons. One, it gets you out of immediate danger. And two, it keeps the area clear so that firefighters and paramedics can get in and do their work without having to navigate a crowd.
And all of this really shows that safety isn't a one-and-done thing. You don't just write a manual and put it on a shelf. It's a constant cycle. You're always assessing what the risks are, planning how to fix them, putting those plans into action, and then, this is the key part, evaluating if it actually worked. Then you start all over again.
At the end of the day, this is all about creating a culture of safety, not just a checklist for compliance. It's about developing a mindset where looking out for each other becomes second nature, something you do every single day without even thinking about it.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. A safety plan is just paper. It's the people, it's you that make it real. Your eyes are what spot the hazards. Your voice is what reports them. So my question to you is, what's one small thing you've noticed, and what's the next step you're going to take to get it fixed?